He doesn't venture very far into the maze. He has already stopped and moved to face me as I rush up towards him. Accidentally clicked out of the game.
The sun has almost risen. The bridges will sink any moment. We need to return to...
It's terrifying, isn't it? This lake and these bridges. You wouldn't deny that, would you?
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. My name is Death by Pony and today we're playing Lake of Voices. So without further ado, let's hop in. Guys.
Yes.
Is it still appropriate to speak? If so, I would welcome a conversation with you.
I'm not sure how close we are to land, but we have definitely made progress at a steady rate. I find my vision drifting down the string between the two of us. It delicately sways to the rhythm of our steps. It eases my mind. Makes me grow louder again, their whispers ringing in an eerie chorus from both sides of the bridge. Between their chatter, I hear what I believe is a sigh from the guide.
Kika.
The sound of my name spoken so irritably catches me off guard. Despite how serious he seemed in the moment, the guide doesn't continue further. I wait. Still not another word. It is unusual for the guide to second-guess himself in such a way. I'm at a loss for how to react. Does he, of all people, need encouragement to continue? Or would it merely be an annoyance? Speak. The guide sighs. There's a feel to it. I've never heard from him before.
I apologize for what I said earlier, before the bridge sank. At the time, I was simply frustrated. This journey has not gone as I would have liked. Yet, that is no excuse for my behavior.
Aww. I'm not sure what to say. Was that truly worrying him? Unexpected seemed much too weak a word to describe this.
I have grown accustomed to withholding sympathy from those I guide in order to protect myself. But that does not mean I do not feel it. At least, I wish to think that I still do. Somewhere deep within me.
To hear him speak this way is more meaningful than he might realize. It reflects my own mindset.
I assumed that was the case. One cannot get angry if one does not feel something. When indifference is merely a mask, it can be hard to maintain. I understand that all too well.
It seems you do. We have that much in common.
I smile faintly.
Your mask is far more secure than mine.
Yes, I would say so.
Aw, he's smiling. The exchange makes my smile grow. To truly connect with someone who can relate to is nice. I didn't hope anyone felt the same sense of weakness I did.
I acknowledge the consideration you have shown towards me thus far. However, if you feel yourself sympathizing with me, you would do best to ignore it. Even if my position in life is difficult, I do not regret it.
I am not the only one who notices a connection beginning to form. He would not have felt the need to reaffirm a sense of separation between us otherwise. I cannot help but reflect on all that I've learned about the guide on this painful journey we've shared. His determination in even the most difficult circumstances is hope to keep others safe. His vexation at failing to do so, his concern for me and his wishes, and even his hint of humor. It is far too late for me to feel nothing towards him.
The most I could do now was hide behind that false mask of indifference. I cannot ignore your trouble so easily. I suppose this means I failed to follow your advice on finding a new perspective. If even you are not able to surmount those painful feelings, there is no chance for me. I won't run from what is difficult any longer. So I can say I followed that lesson from you, at least.
Aww. The guide pauses before speaking again.
Our situations aren't the same. You face your challenge willingly. I have no choice. In some ways, life is its own maze. There are so many directions ahead with no way of knowing where they will take you. But it is not that way for me. There is only this one path. I cannot go back. I cannot take another way. And I cannot stop. Because that is true, I will continue to walk forward on my solitary bridge until the day I die here on this lake. I wonder if those who pass find peace at the end after all. I hope they do, for my own sake.
Aww. His voice remains strong, but it does not hide the sadness and loneliness from me. It is a desperate justification for the way he spent his life to this point and how he intends to use his remaining time. I don't need to be convinced. He should not need to tell himself such words either.
You would make a very fine guard, and in your own way you are. My hope is that you're proud of all you've done these many years. You deserve to be.
Oh.
Thank you.
His voice is soft, but I hear him fine through the silence, in this moment as though there is only us.
You're welcome.
There's no more words between us, and we continue on. Occasionally I catch sight of a prowler down another path that is closest to danger we come. Light begins to filter through the darkness, illuminating the fog.
We're going to run. We can still make it.
I tense at his words, but nod firmly. There is no gradual increase of pace. The two of us dash down the bridges frantically as the sun rises higher and higher. The silhouette of land comes into view in the distance, and the end of the bridges practically rushes towards us. Seconds later, we are free from them. I feel my feet plunge into the sandy shore. I nearly collapse as we get away from the waterline. I struggle to catch my breath, but the guide lightly crouches, using his staff to support himself. He still takes a moment to reassure me, explaining through his gasp that Mameli could not remain here on the shore because it would not have been safe. My legs quiver below me, and the adrenaline rushes out of my body, and I rest quietly for a few moments, taking time to allow my breathing and emotions to settle down. Despite my exhaustions, I feel touched, and I am reminded by just how much the guide risked coming back to find me. I'm so grateful to have reached this far, and I'm just as glad that he survived, tears beginning to stream down my cheeks. The guide straightens himself out with one more deep breath. I smile at him as we catch eyes. I'm amazed when he ever so slightly returns it. Nervous baby. The sight is enough to rob me of my better judgment. I close the remaining distance between us and wrap my arms around him. His eyes widen, he stiffens in my embrace. I rest my head gently against his shoulder, begin to cry anew. Between my sobs, I manage to speak.
We made it.
Yes.
I hold him for a little longer, reveling in the joy that it's finally all over. We're both all right. I am aware I'm lingering, so I let go of him, making sure to step back at the same time. He in turn puts even more distance between us. The guide pointedly looks away, in a manner that can only be seen as bashful. I start to feel heat rise in my cheeks, and likewise look away. But, sir, I accidentally hit the scroll wheel. I survey our surroundings instead. My thoughts slowly begin to format themselves properly. Since Mameli is not here, I should reunite with him at Hemmer, the village we were assigned to. Inevitably, my mind also drifts to those who didn't make it here, the ones that no one will ever be able to see again. A sinking feeling grows in the pit of my stomach. Open! Dinner. Give me 1 second, finishing a recording. The guy's nervousness has claimed his cold glare, and he returns as sharp as it ever was. He speaks to me with a distant tone.
You cannot stay. Even if we've left the night behind us, this place is not safe. And now there is nothing here for you. Leave.
I stand up to stalk straight and turn to face the guy directly. He grabs hold of the thread that has been connecting us, this time and snaps it. The symbol of the gesture is not lost on me.
When you leave, I ask that you share your experience with those who might wish to cross the lake. Let them know the toll it takes. I cannot say this to most because they may question my commitment, but I do not believe you will. If you are willing, I would like to have your support in my foolish dream of keeping others away from Sinlos.
Regardless of how he delivered the message, I am moved by the sincerity in his words.
I will. I will do whatever I can to ensure no one I know takes the journey.
He gives me the barest hint of a smile. I'm acutely aware of the terrible circumstances surrounding this experience. It drags my spirit down again. Still, if the guide can smile and thank me, then I should at least reciprocate. He turned his gaze downward to a faint smile, and not yet having faded. I hope that his goal will be achieved one day. I teeter in place uncomfortably. Finally, I steel myself and take a breath to force my words out.
I'd like to see you again. One day.
You can't.
The response is immediate and severe. The action doesn't surprise me, more does it put any kind of damper on my determination.
I won't attempt to cross the bridges. I will only come to meet you.
His expressions tighten slightly.
And when will you do so? While I am asleep during the day so I can guide at night? When I am on the island during a crossing? Or will you attempt to have a discussion with me while travelers are waiting to begin what will likely be their last journey?
With each question he poses, his frustration grows. I match his expression with hard stare of my own.
I will find a way.
There is no way. You have to move on. Life does not exist as long as you remain in Sinlos. It is a purgatory residing on the edge of death.
Then what about you? You deserve a life of your own, same as anyone else. I don't understand.
He merely shakes his head.
It is too late. The dead cannot be revived.
As if to illustrate his point, the light drains from his face, and it becomes an image of emptiness.
Leave this place, and never come back. Please.
I curl my fingers into tight fists. He only wants to do what he believes is best, what is necessary, but still.
I cannot accept that.
He's furious for the briefest moment. Then the anger melts away as he sighs sorrowfully and presses his forehead against his staff. Guide eyes slip closed, and he seems to be at a loss for what to do. He stands firm in place, though says nothing further, allowing him to gather his thoughts. After a few moments he speaks without moving anything but his mouth.
I am not one who is skilled with words. I have had endless difficulties convincing people to listen to me in many situations. However, you have seen for yourself what Sinlos is. Why won't you leave? What do I have to do to make you understand that there is nothing you can gain from returning and so much you can lose?
His voice is steady and level, yet I sense desperation driving it.
There is something. You're here. I've come to know you during this journey, and I cannot simply leave you behind. Enough has been lost already.
His eyes flick open, settling on my face. His expression is unreadable. Silently, the guide stands upright, turns his back to me, and walks out onto the bridges.
Wait!
He steps in front of the bridges warily. Where did such an incredible recklessness come from? I can't fathom what he's possibly thinking. I squint my eyes and try to see into the fog. This is madness. If it was certain death, he would not have done it. I chose to believe in his abilities and hastily run onto the bridges after the guide. You've come too far for me to let this go this way. Ah! This man! He doesn't venture very far into the maze. He has already stopped and moved to face me as I rush up towards him. Accidentally clicked out of the game!
The sun has almost risen. The bridges will sink any moment. We need to return to...
It's terrifying, isn't it? This lake and these bridges. You wouldn't deny that, would you?
I purse my lips together. It isn't possible to guess where this is going yet, but I can deduce the result he's aiming for. Still, I have to answer honestly.
No. I can admit that being on these bridges and near the lake like this is frightening. I also am aware that those fears are grounded in a real threat. Neither of those are enough to make me forsake you.
You already have.
I look at him baffled.
Sinlos is what created me. Who you see would not exist without this lake. I am reflected in it. On the surface, we are cold and unsettle those around us. If you peer any closer, you will only find darkness and ugliness. You have to leave before you are lost to our heartless depths forever. Do you understand? I don't want to hear any more from you. I can't stand listening to it.
I bite back suddenly, violent tears. He shouldn't have to do this.
Nothing has forced you to stay here. You have legs that could take you far away from this place. You choose to stay because you want to make a difference. It isn't the same. I know that you will never allow yourself to leave no matter the circumstances. Not after everything you have sacrificed. But why does that mean you have to be alone? I can't see that as the only way.
I stop puffing as I catch my breath. His only reaction is looking at me with listless expressions, vacant as the fog.
Go back to the shore.
I won't. Not unless you come with me. You understand these bridges far better than I. If it is safe enough for you to stand there, then it is safe enough for me as well.
His annoyance with me is clear. He is practically rolling his eyes. I much prefer this to how he was only moments ago, before.
Can't you understand that I do not want you here? I wish to have no connection with the world I am separated from. My path is narrow, dangerously so. You're not aware of the weight your intrusion would truly have. But I can assure you, it will only cause us both to suffer unnecessarily.
I've said that I will do what it takes. We can fix what goes wrong or find a way to counteract it.
His reply is scoffing, almost a laugh at how ridiculous the statement sounds to him.
There is no solution, only consequences. Any strength of yours is meaningless if I am weak, and I am much too weak. If I allowed you into my life, I could not properly act as the guide any longer. It would be the end of everything I've done.
His words claw against my skin, painfully urging me to just stop this. Yet I cannot. His life has been traumatizing. He's been alone all this time, and now remaining lost seems easier than reaching out to another person. It would be shameful if I abandoned him because it may make my life simpler.
Then I will shoulder the consequences for the both of us. You do not have to fear.
He stares at me with what I can only assume is disbelief.
So, this is what matters to you?
My face softens a bit.
I don't want to give in.
Why?
It's a simple question. He has every right to ask it. I still wish he hadn't. I do not know if I am capable of explaining it in a satisfactory way.
Because I'm sure it must be possible so long as I'm willing to try. And because you should not have to forego happiness. And because I care about you.
Oh! As much as I wish not to, I have to look away when I make my declaration.
I understand that Sinlos has done much to shape you into the man you are today. What I cannot believe is that it is everything. In the same way you have a name all your own that you keep hidden. I know you are more than the guide.
Tentatively, I look up at his face. He is far closer to me now. There is concern written over his features, or possibly even pain. I say nothing more. I'm not able to. He looks down at the bridge that leads further into the lake, with frustration rising to the surface again. He mutters something to himself. Even with the sunlight continuing to pour over these bridges, I remain standing in front of him, with no intent of leaving. He seems to be grappling with what that means. The man has a secret name, turns to me once more. He appears deeply worn and with exhaustion, but he's smiling at me.
I can't see why you would make such a choice, but I accept it. I don't have another option. And I am ready now for this to stop.
Oh, did we just save him? Cautiously, he reaches his free hand towards me. He places it over my hand, holding it. I wince in shock from what is happening. Despite my confusion, I don't move to push him away. I want this behavior. I want him to realize it's okay to reach out to me. Seeing that I haven't rejected his touch, he tugs me in a little closer to him.
I am glad you shared your uncensored thoughts with me. You are admirable in many ways.
I try not to look as bewildered as I feel. My heart is racing for a far different reason than usual. It becomes even harder to articulate words.
You are admirable as well.
Admirable! You can't think of a better thing to say than he's admirable? Well, I get you both are really bad at flirting, but goddamn, even I'm better than that, and I can't flirt for shit. I won't lie. The closest I get to flirting is the fact that I'll go up to you and share my special interest with you, and talk your ear off for like 3 hours, if you let me. But I'm not that bad. I can do more than that. He lightly chuckles. My heart lifts, elated to hear him laugh. I feel a reality where he smiles more often could come to be. As quickly as I can think, his expression shifts to dark. I intend to ask why, but I am interrupted by him wrapping his staff around my back. Softly, he rests his forehead on mine. I freeze at the sudden intimacy. I suppose it's only fair considering what I did previously. Slowly but surely, I find myself relaxing into his embrace. My eyes close with his.
I'm tired. This has been a long journey.
We can rest.
Yes, we can.
Does it turn dark? Suddenly, the world is tilting forwards. I snap my eyes open as the guy is falling backwards towards the edge. He smiles, keeping his firm embrace on my torso. My mind races wildly, madly, hopelessly, as I try to do anything to stop our descent. We are seconds above the water. We crash to the surface of the lake, our bodies nothing but two dead weights locked together. We try desperately to at least get a breath, but we plummet down faster than I can handle, leaving me choking on thick water. I press it from every possible side, weakening me as we sink down. It grows darker as we descend further into the lake. My throat and chest burn so horribly, I think I'm on fire from the inside. I feel the waters around us begin to move, squirming and slippery. The Nixie must have noticed our presence. Everything is a mess of shadows and blackness, but faint through the thick water and blurring vision, I see pale spots up against me. It's the guide. His figure in the water is the last thing I see, as a force pulls me. One more thought floats through my waterlogged mind as his form is taken further away. I was wrong. I never truly understood how he felt, not for one moment. Complete darkness envelops all my senses. Ah! I knew it was gonna take a dark turn. I knew it! Sad. But, that's the end, guys. That's every achievement. So, we're done. I can't believe I finally made it, by the way. Whew, that took a while, but I am so happy we made it, you know? And I can't wait to see what we play next. So without further ado, I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, hit like. That way I know you enjoyed it. Hit subscribe. That way YouTube can bring you back here to see what happens next. I don't want to take up any more of your time. Have a good day, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.